those who have no voice. Visit worldwildlife.org.
Now it's time for Toker Talk Radio, the voice of the marijuana nation.
What are you people? On dope?
Where you can toke.
I inhale frequently.
Or you can talk.
I experimented with marijuana and didn't inhale.
Or you can toke and talk.
10 federal criminal penalties for possession of up to 1 ounce of marijuana.
While we talk about toke on Toker Talk Radio.
So, by the way, when it comes to pot, if you're 40 years old, you live in a log cabin in Oregon, you got 12 giant pot plants in your backyard, have a ball.
Live from beautiful Portland, Oregon at Rolla J Studios.
Hey, this is great. Just not cannabis.
Plus your calls live at 971-533-7111.
They're walking on their pants with their cap on backwards, listening to Enema Man and Snoopy Poop Dog.
What's to keep somebody from getting all potted up on weed and then getting behind the wheel? Gateway theory doesn't work. It's a reality.
Holland, is it real? Don't tease me.
We're locking up people that take a couple of puffs of marijuana, and the next thing you know, they got 10 years.
And now, here's your host, the guru of ganja graphics, the sultan of sativa statistics, and the worst nightmare of a reefer mad prohibitionist. A polite, perspicacious, productive pothead with a propensity for PowerPoint. Radical, Russ Belville.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Hour 2, Toker Talk Radio is on the air. Phone lines are open at 971-533-7111. Open topic, anything you want to discuss in the world of marijuana or outside of the world of marijuana. This is a show by, for, and about the cannabis community. Doesn't mean we can't talk about other subjects. And we're going to be doing a lot more of that in 2016. I'm going to make Toker Talk Radio the Cannabis Consumers Talk Radio show, but we're going to talk about all sorts of things. We're going to talk about all sorts of topics out there and get everyone's take on these things. And it could be quite interesting because the cannabis community, by and large, is kind of both liberal and libertarian, right? It's almost as if you think of the political spectrum, left, right, and center, right? It's not really a line. Sometimes it's more like a circle. And when you go around that circle, whether you go to the left or to the right, you eventually end up kind of in some places in the same place, where both libertarian types, far right-leaning people, and liberal types, far left-leaning people, both see the need to protect a person's right to use drugs. It just becomes an issue of bodily and mental sovereignty. It's a civil right. And so, so the left sees it as a civil rights issue. The right sees it as a overbearing government issue. And we both kind of come together on that. So with that perspective, we have an interesting group to be able to talk about other issues in this country. Because for most people, on most issues, especially these days with the internet and the media the way they are, everybody ends up in their own little echo chambers, right? You're a righty, you listen, you watch Fox News, you listen to right-wing talk radio, and you read the Wall Street Journal, and that's your little world. And if you're a lefty, you're reading the New York Times, and you're getting all your information off the internet, and your left-wing blogs, and watching MSNBC, right? And you don't get a lot of crossover for the other side. And there tends to be this demonization of the other side and mischaracterization of the other side. An us versus them mentality, which I think only serves really the purposes of the people, in control, the corporations and the people making the money and the power. If all the people are fighting against each other, left versus right, immigrant versus native, gay versus straight, whatever it is we're fighting about, we're distracted with each other and they can go on doing what they want to do. So the marijuana community provides this interesting opportunity for people to have a group that's united under one particular issue who come from vastly different sides on other issues. For instance, I'm all for marijuana legalization. I got friends in Texas who are all for marijuana legalization, but our opinions on guns are quite different. Quite different. I've got friends that are completely in support of the idea that a person has the right to put marijuana in their body, just like I believe we have the right to put marijuana in our body, because what is the government doing? Trying to exercise control over our body? But those same friends are stridently pro-life and are all for the government having control over a woman's body if she's pregnant. So we have these, we got an interesting coalition of people. Pro-lifers and pro-choicers. Gun nuts and gun grabbers. First Amendment and Second Amendment. I mean, we come from all sorts of different areas here. And, Christian and atheist, right? Our coalition has people who strongly believe in ganja as the sacrament, who strongly believe in Christ as a savior, hold these beliefs very seriously. And we have people that are total atheists into evolution and all of that. And yet we all agree that marijuana should be legal. Let's go to our phone lines. We got a call from the 651 area code. 651, you're on the air with Toker Talk Radio.
Hi, Russ. Hello, Russ?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Daniel. I have a question about powdery mildew, how that, if that's bad by burning it, smoking it, or ingesting it.
Yeah, you don't want to deal with the powdery mildew. Sometimes people try to brush this amount off or pick out the parts that are good, but once your plants have the powdery mildew, what you're seeing is not all that's there. There's plenty more that's there at a smaller level that you can't quite pick out. And I know people have said, well, I'll use it in I'll blast it and make a concentrate out of it. No, all you're doing is concentrating the mildew then. Or I'll use it in edibles. No, you're still going to.
How about can of butter?
Yeah, same problem, man. Once you got the powdery mildew, you're done. It's, throw it out. It's not good for human consumption.
And what effects does it have on you if you do consume that?
Well, there's all sorts of toxic mold type of lung pneumonia type infections of the lungs and such. Not good.
Okay. I was thinking if you're just outside in the woods, you're breathing mildew and mold spores there too.
Yeah, it's not quite the same deal here. Definitely a bad thing. Every one of the doctors I've ever interviewed or talked to, and the grower types I've talked to on this have said, nope, you get the powdery mildew, it's done. Throw it out. It's not good for human consumption.
Okay, well, thanks an awful lot, Russ, and geez, it sure is great listening to you. Keep up the great work.
Oh, thank you, man, and tell other people we love having new listeners on the show.
I sure do, and I recommend your stories to everyone to read, too.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Yeah, folks, thank you so much. We love getting these calls, and we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more. Also coming up, we've got our final Daily Toker Tune segment. I mentioned this yesterday that moving forward, as I'm on Cannabis Radio now, I have to take off all the copyrighted music. That's why you're hearing new bumpers and stuff, too. So Herb Thrasher will be calling in for our last Rockin' Friday that we can do, but never fear, the rock will still be here. 420 Radio will still exist. Herb Thrasher Flower Hour will still keep on keeping on. It's just my show that's moving to CannabisRadio.com. We've also got the response to the Black Lives Matter question of a world without police. My question at the Reform Conference coming up at the bottom half of the hour.
This is the Russ Belville Show on CannabisRadio.com.
The son of a Polish immigrant who grew up in a Brooklyn tenement, he went to public schools, then college, where the work of his life began, fighting injustice and inequality, speaking truth to power. He moved to Vermont, won election and praise as one of America's best mayors. In Congress, he stood up for working families and for principle, opposing the Iraq War, supporting veterans. Now he's taking on Wall Street and a corrupt political system, funded by over 1 million contributions, tackling climate change to create clean energy jobs, fighting for living wages, equal pay, and tuition-free public colleges.
People are sick and tired of establishment politics, and they want real change.
Bernie Sanders, husband, father, grandfather, an honest leader, building a movement with you to give us a future to believe in.
I'm Bernie Sanders, and I approve this message.
The Russ Belville Show reminds you to never smoke and drive impaired. Hang out for a while and share.
Ganjapreneur.com, your guide to the cannabis business world. Ganjapreneur.com is a comprehensive resource for cannabis professionals and entrepreneurs. Download the Ganjapreneur app on your smartphone or tablet to catch up on cannabis industry news, scroll through our daily job listings, and learn about successful cannabis companies, executives, and investors. Ganjapreneur.com, helping Ganjapreneurs grow.
Oh, yeah. Welcome back, everybody. 14 after the hour. Radical Russ here, live at Rolla J Studios in beautiful legal Potland, Oregon. Thanks to all of our listeners out there on CannabisRadio.com and to all of you watching out there on Ustream for our live webcam. Also, don't forget, you can follow me on YouTube. I save the first hour of the webcam videos on my YouTube channel at Radical Russ. So you can follow me out there if that's your preferred method of picking up the show. Soon enough, we'll have the iTunes feeds and the Stitcher feeds and iHeartRadio feeds and all that kind of stuff taken care of. And don't forget, coming up at the top of the year, January, big year 2016, possibly 5 more states voting on legalization, 2 more voting on medical marijuana, possibly 2 states passing it through their legislature. It's an amazing time to be a cannabis activist, and we're going to bring it to you all throughout 2016. Trying to put together the Legalize America tour in conjunction with CannabisRadio.com. We're hoping to get a big, we've got a fifth wheel. We've got a big fifth wheel, and we're looking to get a dually pickup and some wrap and some sponsors. And we'll do a nationwide tour. We'll go across the country. We'll cover all the big events like Ann Arbor Hash Bash and Great Midwest Harvest Fest and Global Marijuana March and Seattle Hemp Fest and Cannabis Cups, all that stuff. And we'll go from town to town, city to city, stopping at college campuses and wherever else we can to put on a presentation about the truth about marijuana legalization so these people can know how it is in Colorado or Washington or Oregon or Alaska, and they don't have nothing to fear in embracing marijuana legalization. We'll also take the show on the road, do our show from remote locations, and I think it could be a whole lot of fun. We're still putting it all together. Don't know if it'll even happen, but we're trying to find the sponsors, trying to find the locations. So stay tuned for that. And if you're interested in helping in any way, through monetary donations, if you've got a dually pickup, we'd love that. Just get in touch with me. I'm Radical Russ everywhere. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, SoundCloud, probably MySpace, I don't know. And also on Gmail, radicalruss@gmail.com. If you're interested in knowing more about my background, there is a big front page interview of me coming out in the Oregon Cannabis Connection newspaper. The Oregon Cannabis Connection can be found all throughout Oregon at most of our dispensaries and a lot of our head shops. And Keith Manser, the publisher, came to the studios the other day, and we did a long interview. It's going to be a long piece, but pretty enjoyable getting to do that interview and getting some coverage in the Oregon Cannabis Connection. Also, the story is blowing up. We broke this story a couple of days ago about the Alabama prosecuting attorneys and cops who are all complicit in planting drugs on young black men for over a decade. Hundreds of cases prosecuted with planted evidence. Many of those people still in prison. Wrongly convicted, still in prison. You know, when a case like this comes up, I want the cop, any of the cops and the district attorney who succeeded in putting these men behind bars falsely to have to serve the sentences of the men they put behind bars consecutively. Hundreds of cases. If they each got even 2 years, then the prosecutor and the cops should get 200 years in prison. So basically life without parole. They should be locked up and the keys should be thrown away. To me, I've got a different view of how our justice system should work. I think we should be punishing violence most strictly. Even aggravated assaults, even just simple assaults, should be prosecuted much more strictly than they are today. Behavioral crimes, regulatory things, they shouldn't be anywhere near the punishment of people that commit violent crimes. But something that should be punished even more than that are the people in whom we put our public trust, our criminal justice officials, our peace officers, our officers of the court. When they subvert the cause of justice like this, it should get the maximum penalty short of capital murder. I wouldn't give these guys death penalty. I wouldn't give anyone death penalty. I'm anti-death penalty. It doesn't work. It wastes money. But these guys should definitely do more time than someone busted for weed. That's for damn sure.
You're a loony.
That may be true. Hey everyone, happy 420 on a Friday following a fantastic Packers victory. We went from having a 66% shot at the playoffs to a 92% shot at the playoffs thanks to last night's win. So I'm really happy. I got the strong silicone glow in the dark bong. Time for a 420 safety meeting. See you afterward. First off, thank you all for being the first panel I've attended in 10 years.
Imagine life without taxes. Let New Era Certified Public Accountants, NewEraCPAs.com, handle your Cannabusiness 280E and tax strategy. Get your business prepared with New Era CPA's Cannabis Finance Bootcamp. NewEraCPAs.com, with years of experience in the industry, we are one of the nation's leading accounting firms for growers, dispensaries, and ancillary companies from Washington to California. NewEraCPAs.com.
You're tuned into the Russ Belville Show, the voice of the marijuana nation, only on CannabisRadio.com.
Your connection to quality cannabis insurance services is spelled K-A-E-R-C-H-E-R. That's Karcher Insurance. We have worked with ventures like cannabis for over 60 years. We're proud to represent over 50 companies with tailor-made cannabis plans for owners just like you to insure your product, your plants, and your pursuits. K-A-E-R-C-H-E-R spells out their full-service insurance services ranging from commercial commercial to bonds to personal, from life to health, and more. Contact the team at KarcherInsurance.com and let our experience work for you. That's KAERCHER Insurance.com.
Contact Karen and the team at Karcher Insurance at 1-844-421-3560. That's 844-421-3560.
Everyone knows music and marijuana go together, so let's wind up our 20 after break with the Russ Belville Show's Daily Toker Tunes, the best in pod-safe 420 music from around the web. Today is Rockin' Friday, featuring rock, metal, and the hard edge of alternative country. Now, sit back and enjoy your Daily Toker Tune.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to this Rockin' Friday. Herb Thrasher can't join us today, and it is the last day that we can play any copyrighted music on the show. So I've got to go out with this. Of course, you probably know by now, Scott Weiland, the lead singer of 90s band Stone Temple Pilots, was found dead in his tour bus at the age of 48. And the bassist, Tommy Black, has been arrested and booked for possession of cocaine. So they call 911 because they find their lead singer dead. The cops show up. When they show up, they find some cocaine, and so they arrest the bass player. Damn shame. But, of course, Scott Weiland has long struggled with substance abuse issues, crack cocaine, and heavy drinking. He'd been on tour with his band, Scott Weiland and the Wildabouts, and they had dates coming up in Reno and Napa, California. They're still, the medical examiner is still investigating his death. There's no word as to whether or not there were any drugs involved in Weiland's death. But Black, the bass player, is being held at the Bloomington Police Department pending charges, and he's also the manager of the Viper Room in Los Angeles. So sad to see Scott Weiland go. Somebody my age passing away like this. So we're going to go out with some Stone Temple Pilots off their album Core. This is Wicked Garden.
Light
Get.buzz. .buzz is the internet platform that fuels community interest, excitement, and new experiences. .buzz is the premier online destination for internet users seeking the latest news on a variety of topics. .buzz appeals to groups active in blogging, communications, journalism, advertising, and marketing. .buzz offers registrants a stronger alternative to the shrinking namespace of existing top-level domain names, such as .com, .net, and .org. Get your name now at get.buzz. At Herbie's Cannabis Seeds, we pride ourselves on bringing you the best quality seeds from the world's most respected cannabis seed producers, all at the lowest online prices. You can find Herbie's Seeds at herbiesheadshop.com. All cannabis seeds are sold as souvenirs and as a means of preserving cannabis genetics. Herbie's Seeds in no way intends to condone, promote, or incite the use of illegal or controlled substances. We strongly urge all prospective customers to check their national laws prior to placing an order. Herbie's Seeds at herbiesheadshop.com. Proud sponsors of The Russ Belville Show and 420 Radio.
You're listening to Radical Russ on the Russ Belville Show.
MJWellness.com, the largest medical marijuana community in the world. Connect with thousands of patients, doctors, industry leaders, and businesses through shared personal experiences along our worldwide network. Discover new therapies and benefits with content tailored to you. Come grow your network on MJWellness.com. You're not alone. Your wellness matters. Learn, live, and thrive. Check out MJWellness.com today.
Welcome back, everyone. Half past here at Roll the J Studios in beautiful legal Potland, Oregon. We're live, and it's CannabisRadio.com you're listening to. I'm Radical Russ. This is the Russ Belville Show's Toker Talk Radio. Our phone lines are open at 971-533-7111, as they are every day at 4 p.m. Pacific time. So you can get your 420 on with us and call in, let us know what you're thinking about, ask your questions. We'll give you the best answers we can. There's some developments here in that shooting in San Bernardino, that mass shooting that took place, killing 14 people, injuring over 20. Turns out the wife, according to the FBI, was dedicated to ISIS, says she praised ISIS leaders during the attack, and the FBI now says we are investigating these horrific acts as an act of terrorism. And here it comes, folks. It's going to get pretty crazy, although they say there's no indication that this was directed by ISIS. What I think this is probably more like those, just freelancers, people that think ISIS is cool and, hey, let's help them out by, killing a whole bunch of people. This is troublesome, of course, because on the one hand, you're going to have some people that are, very Islamophobic, anti-Muslim, anti-immigrant, who are going to say, see, this is why we need to keep the Syrian refugees out. Panic. And on the other side, you're going to have people that are going to see, this is why we need to take everyone's guns away. See? Reason magazine, Nick Gillespie called it the perfect storm. for gun grabbers and Islamophobes. Yeah, it's going to be difficult here dealing with this one. It does point out the fact, though, that terrorists in this country can get their hands on guns and about 1,600 rounds of ammo, right? People on the no-fly list in this country can buy guns. Did you know that? You can't get on a plane, but you can buy guns and ammo, but not if you're a pot smoker. If you're a pot smoker, you're a known abuser of Schedule I substances, and thanks to the Gun Control Act of 1968, it is illegal to transfer guns or firearms to you. Person on the no-fly list, that's cool. Buy all the guns you like. Pot smoker, no guns for you. So, like, regardless of which side you're on, right, in this gun debate, I would at least hope you can see how ludicrous that situation is. If we are going to have certain gun laws to restrict some people from getting guns, maybe it should be the no-fly list and not the flying on pot list. Maybe, right? All right, let's get off of that subject because I know it rankles a lot of people, and we've covered it many, many times. I'll leave the subject by saying these people bought all their guns legally. They're all law-abiding gun owners with no criminal records. So I don't know what you do. I've already said basically that I've kind of like surrendered on the issue. I really have, because I come from a family that loves guns, man. And I like guns. They're fun. They're a lot of fun. I go out to the country, the Badlands of Oregon, Eastern and Central Oregon, with a couple of pistols, shoot some cans, shoot some bottles. That's a lot of fun. I've fired an M60 machine gun before. It's a lot of fun. They're great. I got parents and uncles and cousins who are avid hunters. I got no problem with the guns. What I got a problem with is the randomly flying bullets. That's what I got the problem with. Got no problem with the guns. It's the possibility that I'm in a public place and bullets may randomly start flying. And I've resigned myself to, because after Sandy Hook, right? After the kids got shot up, white kids got shot up in a classroom, I thought, oh, that's it. There's something going to happen. Nope, nothing happened. So after that happened, I'm just kind of developed the attitude of like, look, that's just our thing. That's just going to be America's thing. Randomly flying bullets can kill you in America. That's just the way it is. Never mind the fact that this happens in no other country. And I know somebody brought up, what about France? The terrorists attacked France. Yeah, one gun incident in how many, months for them, years for them. We have more incidents than we have days in a year. So apples and oranges, but I've just resigned myself to it. That's just our thing. No other country deals with this like we have to, but hey, no other country has to deal with as many poisonous things as Australia. Few other countries have to deal with the tsunami and earthquake danger of Japan. It's our thing, right? Africa, you might get malaria or Ebola. It could kill you. America, randomly flying bullets and type 2 diabetes. We just have to, that's the way our country is, man. We're just going to have to deal with it, I think. Oh my God. Let me go back real quick to the Dothan, Alabama Police Department. Leaked documents reveal they planted drugs on young black men for years, and the district attorney was complicit. Off the HenryCountyReport.com blog. Nice picture of all these guys, all these white Southern officers who've been planting drugs on black guys holding a Confederate flag. That's how appropriate that could be. Interesting. And it's just hundreds of cases. Planted evidence, many still in jail because of this. And this started as far back as 1996, that the police department got complaints that black victims, that drugs and weapons were being planted, specifically young black men who had clean records. The police chief instructed senior officers to ignore the complaints, and they willingly complied. In 1998, a concerned group of white officers within the police department complained in writing about what they had witnessed. And in August of so that got turned over to Internal Affairs. By August of 99, more than a dozen officers had allegations against them for planting drugs and weapons on black men they had falsely arrested. Each were notified of a formal investigation required to prepare statements in writing to Internal Affairs. Notification of charges reference a combination of marijuana, cocaine, and guns being planted on citizens during arrests that were witnessed by multiple fellow officers. They were prosecuted by District Attorney Doug Valeska. Despite the written allegations by police officers, the evidence was planted. Never was any such information shared in the discovery process with the defendant's attorneys. So the district attorney, the prosecutor, gets these allegations of planting drugs and guns and doesn't turn that over to the defense. That, of course, is a felony and will be prosecuted as such. It's a long post, again, at henrycountyreport.com. This is dated December 1st from their post. And they've got a whole bunch of documents in here that are embedded as well. In the end, the police chief, Steve Parrish, declined to comment, but they did agree to redact personal information, so they can't know, who's involved here. But for years, hundreds of young black men. And let's keep in mind, folks, these are the guys that got caught. These are the guys that had at least a few good cops in their department who were willing to come forward to break that blue wall of silence and let the world know that this was happening. How many other police departments does this happen in? This is yet another reason why it's so vital that we end the war on drugs, and specifically marijuana. Because all that this ends up being is another tool bad cops can use to get away with their crimes. This was used, I recall the 1992, I think it was 92, killing of Katherine Johnston, 92-year-old elderly black woman living in a bad neighborhood, bad apartment complex, whatever it was. Cops come bursting through the door because it's the wrong address on a warrant. She thinks she's being home invaded, takes her little gun out and shoots at him. The cops shoot back and kill her. When they realize they killed a 92-year-old lady, they realize they got the wrong address on their warrant. They planted a baggie of marijuana on her. So I'm well aware this has been going on. This was Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. This has been going on all over the country. So the benefit to the state of being able to take a personal amount of marijuana out of somebody's hands has to be weighed against the opportunity for a crooked cop to use that as a way of getting around someone's civil rights. It seems to me that there should be more, we should weigh that on the side of citizen liberty. We should weigh that on the side of civil rights. Legalize the personal possession of all drugs. A personal amount of drugs should never be a reason for a cop to suspend your liberty. Now, Scott Weiland, I don't know how it's pronounced. That case comes to mind too, busting the bass player for what's certainly a personal amount of cocaine after his friend and colleague died. After they found their friend dead and call 911, they then have to deal with that. Personal amounts of drugs should not be cause for the cops to suspend our liberty. Now, crooked cops might be able to still plant guns, still plant stolen merchandise. I mean, it's never going to eradicate crooked cops, but Given that there will always be crooked cops, how about we give them fewer tools to be crooked with? Let's take a couple tools out of their tool belt. The smell of marijuana. I smell weed. Oh, really? Sure you do. Sure you do. Oh, you found some weed on this black kid who doesn't have a previous record. Right. So I want to take a moment here to play a clip, because we've been talking about this Black Lives Matter and crooked cops and so forth, and there was this panel, the militarization of police, that took place. And I played a little bit of it on the show yesterday, and it featured Diane Goldstein, my friend from Law Enforcement Against Prohibition, and Patrisse Cullors, who is one of the co-founders of Black Lives Matter, and a few other activists who work with people of color, communities. And there was this theme that built up throughout the discussion of this idea of a world without cops, that cops were bad, cops were evil, we shouldn't have cops, because all cops are the occupying army that controls and keeps capitalism running and keeps minorities, at a lower class status, and this perspective that was coming from these minority activists. And Patrisse Cullors, I believe it was, actually came to the point of saying, we need to work toward a world without police. My goal is to put the police out of business, which I think is a fabulous idea in a John Lennon Imagine sort of way, because you have to imagine that we'd be a world without conflict if you want to be a world without police. And so that led me to my question that I asked at the Reform Conference to these activists. Russ Belville from CannabisRadio.com. First off, thank you all for being the first panel I've attended in 10 years of drug law reform. It was all female, but not about...
And they always gave us suggestions, and all the suggestions were male, and I was like, fuck that.
I'm skeptical of this idea of the world without police, and maybe it's because I played music in biker bars for 15 years now. In this imaginary world without police, when I go to my neighbor to talk to him about the music being too loud, and he steps outside and punches me in the nose, what happens? Who do I call? What does that world look like?
Think about that.
So, it will rapid fire again.
Yeah. Lightning round, so ask your question.
This is going to be a little bit more of a comment.
Question, please.
That was good.
Please don't go anywhere at the end. Please.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Okay.
Oh, we want to hear it.
Yeah, let him comment.
While it makes sense, but there's also the flip side around mob violence and mob lynching and vigilante.
We have that right now.
Yeah.
That's what we got.
Just, to the extent that justice is about retribution and revenge, I don't see that happening. So unless we sever the idea of revenge and you wrong me, so the state now has to wrong you by arresting you or executing you or whatever, I don't think we'll move very fast. Perhaps tempering justice with compassion rather than
Restorative justice.
Yeah.
It's 3:54. Just
Hi. Thank you guys for the wonderful panel. I was wondering if anyone could speak to the intersections and parallels of the drug war and sex work criminalization. I know someone brought that up briefly before, and just wanted to see if anyone had any experience or expertise in that. Last question.
So, okay, I just want to ask,
Right.
Quick question. I know you spoke about comparing the School of the Americas, but I think maybe one thing we're leaving out, the elephant in the room is located in 5 blocks north of here. And I think how can we confront Pentagon and military, whether it's in Palestine or Mexico, how can we cut the budgets? Militarization of police forces is direct military, not only domestically but internationally. Maybe someone can give us some insight on things we can target and funding.
Okay, we only have 5 minutes left. So for those of us up here who are going to respond, can we keep it short?
Yes.
Yeah, so I want to answer a few of the questions around restorative justice and what happens when somebody punches me on the nose and all of those things. So I'm a policy person, right? I do policy work all day, every day, and so I'm very pragmatic. I'm also an abolitionist. I don't think the cops need to exist. I don't think prisons need to exist, and I think that we can take slow and measured steps towards that, right? Like Patrice said, like that, this shit's not going to happen tomorrow, right? And we can, we need. Slow. We need to take slow and pragmatic steps, and for me, doing policing reform work, that means what are the reforms that actually shrink police departments, right? What are reforms that shrink those budgets? Don't fucking get me started on body cameras. Don't even get me started on how much money that is, how many corporations are doing the lobbying to sell that product to police departments, right? So I don't think we have to know right now what's going to happen when somebody punches you in the nose to believe that this system is unjust and there needs to be an alternative and that we need to figure out as we go on. I'll keep it at that. I have so much more to say.
I just wanted to answer the question about the sex.
That's kind of what I got through most of the response was not much of an answer. Supposed to try to imagine this world without police, and the only way I can imagine that is a world where we all agree to compromise through mediators somehow. And I just don't think it's ever going to happen. I agree that we need to reduce policing. I agree there needs to be more community involvement and more neighbor-to-neighbor involvement. But I still want to have some police. I want the police to deal with guys with guns and rapists and thieves and guys that want to punch me in the face. I think we should keep cops for that. We're back with the final segment right after this.
This is the Russ Belville Show on CannabisRadio.com.
This is Radical Russ encouraging you to take a look at the Weed Blog every day. Johnny Green and the staff at the Weed Blog are on top of all the latest developments in the fight to end marijuana prohibition nationwide. You can even get the Weed Blog on your smartphone by installing the Weed Blog app for iPhone and Android. If it's about weed, it's on the Weed Blog, including my original writing. So don't delay. Read the Weed Blog today.
This is Cannabis Facts from Robert Platshorn's thesilvertour.org, supported by our donors and Hemp Inc., poised to lead America's hemp revolution at hempinc.com. In 1937, the second most prescribed medicine, marijuana, was banned. It wasn't about marijuana. The paper, oil, and chemical industries lobbied to end hemp farming. No longer labor-intensive, an acre of hemp produced more quality paper than 4 acres of trees. Plastics and fibers could be produced from a plant. Hemp can even produce 10 times the energy of today's ethanol. As marijuana prohibition ends, many states now allow farmers to again grow hemp. This was Cannabis Facts from thesilvertour.org, an educational nonprofit supported by our donors and Hemp Inc., a public company poised to process America's hemp crop at hempinc.com.
The Russ Belville Show reminds you to never smoke and drive impaired. Hang out for a while. Share.
Great websites today need expert web design and development and need to be e-commerce ready and mobile friendly. But building a marketable and profitable website can be an uphill climb. Ready to make your new website or replace your existing website? Think Orange as the new way to get in the black. Orange Hill Development works with Fortune 500 companies and offer the same top quality development service at a fraction of what other providers charge. Brands like Absolute, Carlsberg, and Nestea trust Orange Hill Development. Find out why you should trust your website with Orange Hill. Contact Orange Hill for a consultation today at orangehilldevelopment.com.
Welcome back, everybody. Final segment here on a Friday, and don't forget, coming up at the top of the hour, Stoner Jesus will bless you with his stony goodness and fill you with the Holy Spirit. So, he'll fill you with something, I'm sure. I'm going to close things off here with a message from Snoop Dogg, Snoop D-O double jizzle. He was on the Jimmy Kimmel program last night, and they are promoting Omaze. It's the red promotion to help combat AIDS throughout the world. And various celebrities are giving away various special situations, like Tom Brady will let you snap him a ball, a football, for example. So Snoop Dogg has a very special offer, and I really hope we get to cover this offer come 420. Check it out. This is Snoop Dogg on Jimmy Kimmel Live last night.
Tell us what your Omaze experience is.
My Omaze experience will be for a lucky fan to come to Denver, Colorado on 420 and have a smoking experience with me.
We're calling this...
Is it a Mary Jane wellness retreat?
A wellness retreat.
Yeah, so we're trying to get you well. And Jimmy, I brought you a gift because I want you to get well, too.
Oh, you did?
Yes, so you're a part of our team now, so.
What is this, a necklace?
Yeah, that's
I love necklaces. Yeah. Oh, this is going to be perfect for me. Thank you very much. You're selling jewelry now?
Yeah, man, I'm slanging everything.
How did this happen?
Hey, man, everything got to go, man.
Snoop Dogg, when you get a prescription for medical marijuana here in California, you have to get a doctor to. What do you tell the doctor is your ailment that you require?
I'm going to share this with you because I love you.
Oh, thank you.
Migraines.
So thank you, Snoop Dogg. Thank you for the beautiful necklace. If you want to bid on Snoop's Mary Jane Wellness Retreat, go to omaze.com/red.
Congratulations there. You can go to omaze.com and learn more about Snoop's Wellness Retreat. And you bid on this, but it's like a raffle, so everybody has a chance to win. It's not like whoever bids the most wins. Although I think if you bid more, you get more chances to win. But anybody could win this thing. We'll certainly be in Denver for 420. We'll see if we can get Snoop Dogg on the show. That'll be a lot of fun. That's all the time we got this week. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate you coming over and joining us at cannabisradio.com, your source for the best in marijuana talk radio programming. I'm Radical Russ, live from beautiful legal Potland, Oregon, right here at Rolla J Studios, thanking you for being here, supporting the show, and fighting for marijuana legalization. Until next time, take care of each other, tokers.
This is the Russ Belville Show. The Russ Belville Show is blogging and podcasting daily at radicalruss.com.
You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it, you roll it, you smoke it. You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it, you roll it, you smoke it. You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it, you roll it, you smoke it, and it goes down smooth.
The Prohibition War is your mind. Fill your head with the knowledge you need by checking out this latest entry in the Russ Belville Show's Reformer's Reader.
All right, welcome back, everyone. We are going to the phone lines now where we are trying to speak with Dr. David Bierman, MD. He's the author of Drugs Are Not the Devil's Tools, and they just hung up, so I don't think they understood we were calling in. Let me see if I can reach them again. Dr. David Bierman, MD, with a foreword by Judge James Gray. It's a 2-volume set of the history. Hello, this is Russ Belville from the Russ Belville Show. We're trying to reach Dr. Bierman for our interview.
Okay, hold on for a moment.
Thank you so much. Yep, that happens sometimes. We get a receptionist. But Drugs Are Not the Devil's Tools, How Discrimination and Greed Created a Dysfunctional Drug Policy and How It Can Be Fixed. And so we're not talking just about cannabis here. It's got cocaine, heroin, and alcohol also on the front cover. These come in both black and white and color versions. I've got the black and white version, but they are luxuriously illustrated. You're going to find plenty in here. Dr. Bierman, are you with us? Not quite yet? Okay, so this is a complete history. Volume 1, 2637 BC through 1969 AD. Volume 2, 1970 through 2015. And these are, for our listeners out here, these are full-size books. We're talking, 9-inch by 12-inch maybe. And how many pages in this volume here? 288 pages, fully footnoted, by the way. You're going to find all the facts in here. Exhaustively footnoted. 288 footnotes in this book here, 290 pages, and like 30-40 footnotes per chapter, 13 chapters. And the second edition is also 256 pages, and again, just hello, Dr. Bierman. Thank you for being with us. How are you? I know you're busy.
I am, but we're rescheduling the last patient of the day, and the other patient that I was working with has just left. So are we on the air?
Yes, we're on the air. Thank you, Doctor. Thanks for being with us.
Okay, all right. Sure, go ahead, ask me whatever you want to. We'll have a nice conversation.
Sure thing. Well, I was just telling everybody about your 2-volume set here, and I got my copies. Thank you so much for sending them out. And I've been telling people that drugs are not the devil's tools. Is the emperor wears no clothes for all drugs. I mean, you've got it all in here, Dr. Bierman. How long did it take you to put this together?
Well, it's based on a course that I taught in the Black Studies Department at UCSB in about 2000. And then I wrote a little, much smaller book called Demons, Discrimination, and Dollars in 2006. So in some way, shape, or form, I'd say about 14 years.
Wow. Yeah, it definitely shows because there's exhaustive research in here. And just going through the first volume the other day, I decided I'd start with the first volume because, I've kind of lived through some of the second volume. But with the first volume here, so much to be learned. You've got all these illustrations and cartoons and lithographs and photos and graphs and data. It's just really amazing. I recommend this very highly. And Dr. Bierman, in the subtitle, it says how discrimination and greed created a dysfunctional drug policy and how can it be fixed? That's going to give me a few questions. The first of which is, which would you say had more of a effect? Discrimination? Because a lot of people have this idea that there's conspiracy theory and Hearst and all of these terrible people trying to prohibit